Hello everybody, this is the Retro Bear. Welcome back to PlayStation month, April 2022. Hope you're all well and joining in, going through your backlog of PlayStation games, be it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, PSP, Vita, Go, all that other stuff as well that you can do. Not pop stations though, because they don't technically count. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please go and check my previous videos out about this, which will be in the description below. Before we start, let's just address the game in the room, which is PlayStation Things. It is Silent Scope on the PlayStation 2. There we go. Not one of the games I'm picking for PlayStation 2 week. No, we won't do that. Won't give you any spoilers in advance. Well, maybe not just yet, but maybe a bit later. So we've got that going at PlayStation 2 set up and ready to go for the second week. Now, if you've not seen my previous video, very, very quickly, just let you know what it's all about. This month, April, we're encouraging people to play any games in your PlayStation backlog, whatever system, whatever method you want to do it, do so. People are doing things slightly differently. I'm doing it a weekly basis. I'm devoting a week per system to PlayStation 1 through 4. Going to upload a couple of videos per week about it. Usually the week afterwards I've done it, so this is covering all the stuff I've played already. I'm in the midst of PlayStation 2 week at the moment. That'll be up next week, the week after PlayStation 3, and then PlayStation 4 I think is going to be a couple of live streams. I've done that before with Crisis Time, I think it was, many months ago. Just one Sunday afternoon, but I think there may be a couple of live streams. There are a couple of games that I own physically that I'd like to play for PlayStation 4. I'm probably not going to have a huge amount of time to put much effort into that system, so I'm trying to do 5 games, PlayStations 1 through 3 each system, and then maybe a couple of PlayStation 4 to finish with. Anyway, this is the result of what's happened to that. I put a video up a couple of days ago which detailed the introduction to the games we'll be playing, and this video is basically going to be showing you some gameplay and doing simple, basic reviews and opinions of what I've actually turned up with. Now, before we get to the footage, I did say when I started doing this I wanted to put some time into the game, which I did. And rather than do what I usually do, just show you the first level of each game on any gameplay video that I do, because usually that's what I tend to do, I thought, no, I'll get some progress into this game, which I did manage to do, and I'll show you the result of that. However, the problem I've encountered is that because it's been so long since I've done gameplay videos, probably about 6 months, I'd forgotten which system I used to record them, because when I came to the voiceovers, they were glitching on the footage all over the place. Whiteouts and buffering. There's something that wasn't right with it. Then I realised that I'd actually recorded it in the wrong system. Usually I do my recording for this stuff for OBS, but I don't record my game footage for OBS. Up here anyway, I do for Commodore Corner, and that's the game footage I've been doing for the past few months. So I was like, oh God. So all the good footage disappeared, sadly. So what you're about to see is the redo over, which won't have, because of time constraints, won't have the good stuff in it, as in I got a bit further with each game I'm going to show you. So a bit disappointed how that's turned out, but it'll give you a good idea what it is. I mean, I know where I was with the games to get going and all that, so that's the most important thing. So let's not hold you up any further. You know what the games are. I should do them in the order I showed them, and then when we come back I'll give you a bit of a summary, my opinions after all. Hope you enjoy this. This is what I've been playing for PlayStation month, week 1 on the PlayStation 1. Here we go then with Apocalypse on the PlayStation 1. We join this in progress on level 3. Just a quick point of interest here, as we said, reshot this footage. I was actually using the PlayStation 2. For some reason the controller seemed to lock onto auto fire, which isn't a problem because this is the sort of game you need auto fire for, but not how I played this originally. So yes, you are Bruce Willis going around destroying people. The tagline for this game: "The end of the world is near. You're Bruce," starring as Trey Kincaid, a nanophysicist and sole defender of the world. It's just up to you to defeat the 4 horsemen before it's happy trails to us all. And yeah, he's escaped from prison. Level 1 he got out through a sewer. In level 2, this is level 3, he's now in the city, and as you can see it's very much a run and gun game. You've got soldiers to shoot, helicopters to avoid, tanks to blow up, all sorts of manner of people wanting to destroy you, health to pick up, which is very useful because I've got very little at the moment. Top right hand corner is where your vital statistics are, I suppose, best way to describe it. Energy and all sorts of things. Energy across the top, which is the rainbow bar. Blue bar down the side is weapon blastability. So this is your basic weapon. You pick up other things on the way. We've seen a particle beam, we'll see flamethrowers, grenades, rockets. But because it's still an autofighter, I keep changing back to the basic method weapons, so I don't lose all my key ones up. But yeah, this is just the basic. You've got Bruce talking in the background, shouting various catchphrases, which do get a little bit annoying because some of them crop up quite a lot, some don't crop up as much as they used to. But this is it, you just go around killing everything. Shoot everything that moves, because it will shoot back at you. The camera moves around behind you, it drops up top as well. It is a little disorientating because, especially on the early levels, when you've got to jump at the same time as well, it is a bit on the tricky side because the camera angle changes. The jump mechanism isn't quite as good as I think it should be. Just going back and noticing the change in the game, but it's exactly what you want. It's something to do with Bruce Willis, therefore you want to go around destroying stuff and blowing things up. And some weapons are better than others. Particle beam was brilliant for that. Oh crap, it's fell off the edge there. But yeah, it's just good fun. It's exactly what you want a game starring Bruce Willis to be. I know there was some issue when it came out that he wasn't overly happy with it. Obviously he didn't try and get the game taken off sale or anything like that. It still came out as it should have done, and I've fallen off the edge again. How the hell I keep doing that for? But it is just a good, honest blast, run around, destroy stuff, blow things up. Yeah, what more can you ask for? This is Bruce Willis as Trey Kincaid in Apocalypse, and it's better than Armageddon. In fact, anything's better than Armageddon.
Strap one on, it's time to jam.
Moving on to game number 2, this is Gunfighter, The Legend of Jesse James, and as you can see, it is a on-the-rail shooter. It is in the style of Time Crisis, Virtua Cop, Ghost Squad, all those great light gun games. And it is a game you can actually play with your light gun, just on the front light gun compatible, which I didn't realise at the time. Therefore, I am playing this using the control pad, the directional keypad, and the fire button. You can use analog stick with this as well, I should mention. I may mention that later, I can't, so just in case I forget. And it's set in the Old West. It's a sort of Jesse James. You've got to go through and take all these cowboys out. Tagline for this one: pursued by a gang of ruthless criminals, the famous outlaw Jesse James finds himself hiding out in a small town in the Old West. Jesse's girlfriend Z has been kidnapped and his friend Cole has been shot dead. Your mission is clear: save Lee and avenge Cole's death by defeating your murderous enemies. And it really does capture the spirit of the old Wild West very, very well. I say that, I can only go off film and television because, although I might be old, I wasn't actually there at the time. What's great about this game? Well, it's just got that wonderful setting. It doesn't look fantastic now, does it? I mean, it looks very of its time. The graphics are very triangular and polygony, but you expect that. But the music is great. The vocals, there's some cheesy, corny dialogue which you may hear a little bit later on. It's all great. You've got your time in the bottom, which ticks down. You have to clear the screen quickly to get your time extended, which I've just managed to do there with 3 seconds to go. Bottom left hand corner is your energy, which is represented by 4 playing cards, 4 aces, rather good. And the bottom right corner is your bullet count, which means dropping back behind the item you're hiding behind reloads you. But yeah, you can just see. I mean, everything looks a bit weird, don't they? They don't all look, well. They all look a bit ghostly, I suppose, but it just adds the charm of it. It's just a good, fun game. If I'd had a light gun, I probably would have been a lot better at this. And again, I did get a bit further. Unlike Apocalypse, which I've got to level 3, that's where as far as I got. I did actually get a bit further with this game when I played it originally. As mentioned, the previous technical difficulties, unfortunately, you can sign that footage to history. Not to worry, I'll keep plugging away. But if you do come across this, I'd thoroughly recommend it. It is tremendously good fun, and as I said before, if you have a light gun, dig your CRT out. It's almost worth going finding a CRT for this, because you will get much more out of it than playing on the old control pad. But this is an absolute barrel of laughs. It really is. Really good fun. Just hunt this one down. It came out on PlayStation 2 as well, I believe. And this is Jesse James in the legend, in Gunfighter, the legend of Jesse James. Moving on to that, let's move on to Le Mans 24 Hours, where you can actually play 24 hours of Le Mans. Yes, you can actually sit down and do the full 24 hours if you really wanted to. That is entirely up to you. There is a 12-minute option, which is what we're playing here. There is also a 2-hour option as well. This is the first time I actually played the Le Mans track. I'd been playing other tracks, because there are other game options, and here playing the different classes. This is, I believe, the GT2 car, and there's also options to play a full season of that, and then work your way up to the top classes and the proper Le Mans cars we're all familiar with. This does simulate a full 24 hours as well. Top left hand corner, you can see at the moment the TT option, which is ticking rather quickly. That ticks through the 24 hours, so that'll take you all the way through. There's your laptop below that. Up in the top left hand corner, that's where you are to the nearest car. You position over in the middle, and the other one, top right hand corner, is where you are in terms of the actual distance from the car behind you. Bottom right corner is speedometer. The one on the corner, the yellow one in the corner, is the lap number you're on as well. Of course, the key thing about the monitor is the lap you do, it's the time taken to get through it. There's pit stop options as well, which is really, really funny, because I actually ran out of fuel later on this. Oh, it's still glitching. Wonderful. Well, that's really good to know. I don't know the PlayStation.
Nasty shunt.
Oh dear. But yeah, so this is basically it's got Tiff Medell doing commentary in the background. If you can hear it every now and again, he tries to do some commentary updates. He tries to do some
What is he doing?
pointers along the way. I believe there is some damage involved in this, because I know as the race went on, the car did develop a bit of a fault and started running a lot slower than before. Let's see if I can just fast forward to the night time. There we go, you can see, so we're now 9 hours, 10 hours into the race, and you can see we're now into the depth of night. You can see the flags appearing on the right hand side. These obviously are very, very important. I forgot to read instructions to find out exactly what they all meant. But obviously they're there as warning. You've got yellow flags, blue flags, green flags, etc. So you do go for the full 24 hour, you can do it in 12 minutes, but if you want to do the full 24 hours, it's there for you to sit there and have it go out properly. It reminds you an awful lot of Tokka, which is a good game. I enjoyed playing that immensely, and this is pretty good as well. I mean, for what I paid for it, it's great. I don't think you get it to just put down a track down well worth it. If you like the racing game, this is one you should probably add into your collection. 24 hours of Le Mans, which you can actually fully simulate. Well, that's commitment, isn't it? Rat Attack is up next, which is a game where you have the opportunity to capture intergalactic space rats or something. I think that's what it's getting at. I'm not quite sure. I was a bit confused with the original concept. You can pick from 6 cats to start with. We are going to be using a character called Muffy DuPont. Yes, you can make your own jokes up about that one. And the idea is each per level you've got to basically capture a set number of rats to release the door to move on to the next level, will become apparent from this bit here. That's your white character there, and then you press the, I think it's the cross button, and that puts a portal on the floor. Once you pick the rats up and trap them in there, you walk over that trap, it's just indicating there, and that then puts the rats back into a trap, and it's job done. Bottom left hand corner, number of lives represented by the green little cat icon. Number of rats you have to pick up per level is indicated just below that, and you'll score in the bottom right hand corner. And then this is all it is. It's a collect and trap them up. the best way to describe it, really. I can't think of anything else. Attack line from the back of the box. Thousands of deadly rats are taking over the earth, destroying anything that stands in their way. Enter the Scratch Cats, an elite squad of feline freedom fighters dedicated to protecting planet Earth from its biggest threat yet. The fate of the world is in your paws. Stop the breeding menace. And this is pretty much it. I mean, it's bog standard platform fare. The camera isn't the best, and the purpose is to stop the rats destroying all the items. I'm not quite sure what you consider doing something to it by giving us like a brown gas, which is a bit worrying as well, really. And you can see the camera's just struggling a little bit there to keep up with it. A nice little touch is there when you do sort of lose a life. You hit one of the enemies, hit one of the rats. You sort of lose some of your energy. A little icon of your cat goes up to heaven as if the lives are disappearing. But yeah, I don't think it's anything special. It's fun for a short period of time. There's plenty of levels. It says up to 50 levels in here, which is quite good. There's multiplayer option as well, and 4 players can play at once. So definitely party game options. But not the most difficult game in the world. I was able to sit down and get through it quite quickly. Very of its time, I think. Is it there enough there to recommend it? You know, in the old days we'd say try before you buy, and I think this probably is the most accurate description I can give for this game, Rat Attack. And so we move on to the final game, which is for veterans of computer gaming. Automatically realise that this is a tarted up late 90s version of the 8-bit classic Drop Zone, as everything was called on remake wise, now known as Super Drop Zone. And the idea is very, very simple. First of all, not to do that. I never actually played this game originally. I can't remember actually playing Drop Zone. I can remember playing Defender, which is very much a similar style game. But here, the little green aliens don't actually pick up the little brown circle. If you look at the very bottom of the screen, there are, I think, 10 scattered across the level on that plan. There's some lights at the bottom of the map. Those are the items you have to scroll over and pick up, and then take them back to base to drop them in. And once you've collected all 10 of those, as long as you've cleared the level of all the aliens in the sky, that'll be it, and then you'll release the end of wave boss. So as you can see at the moment, I'm going back to base now, because I've got one of these little round circles. Drop it off there, goes into the home. Now if you look at the control panel, bottom left hand corner is the number of lives. Where the score is in the middle to the left, on the left hand side is a shield which you can turn on or off. On the right hand side you can see the little lights. Those there are what you need to knock down, to clear all those lights, and that means you've collected all the icons for the level. So I've just done there, so that's all 10. And then bottom right hand corner I think is the smart bomb, which I haven't managed to trigger yet. And I think what they've done is been very clever about it. They've obviously brought the game up to date for the modern audience. You've got some speech in there. They've not gone overboard with the graphics. I don't say there's a case of substance, style over substance here. The core of the gameplay is still there. You control the spaceman by going up and down with your D-pad. And then this is the end of wave boss, so you just have to make sure you balance yourself correctly. This bit's quite easy. It's actually quite easy when flying around trying to clear the screen of enemies, because as long as you can hover in the right place and just keep your fire on focus, you're not really going to come under any sort of threat here. But it all looks, rather good. Nice little explosion. Let's clear this in a minute. The only criticism I'd have for it, I don't know whether this is the original game, maybe not, is I got to the end, I think I got to wave 5 eventually. It's just like, it's alright. It's alright. I'm not going to say it's setting my world on fire. Now whether that's because I didn't play the original, whether it's because the original wasn't all that good. But then again, the original is regarded as a bit of a classic. One of those great moments in gaming history, so that would probably be doing injustice to Arch McLean and also to Jim Bagley, who worked on this sequel for the PlayStation 1. I think if you enjoyed the original, you'd enjoy this. I think if you hadn't played the original, got no nostalgia for it, you might struggle a little bit with this when you get into it. But on the whole, I don't think it's too bad. I think it's a pretty good effort. They really could have gone and done one of these overblown, completely forgetting its origins type remakes, which they didn't. They've gone for it in the right manner and the right fashion, and not a bad game. Not a bad game if you can find it cheap enough. I certainly won't pay a huge amount for it. And some of you may, after playing this, decide the Spectrum version is far better, which is now what I'm going to try and do, because I do actually have this in Spectrum. I have to go and give it a go at some point. But yeah, this is the last game, and this is Super Doctor. It's almost like Strictly Come Dancing the Results show, this bit. You're not all dancing with the stars if you're watching one of the very, very few people watching in America, or I don't know what the variation you have across the world. If you are watching elsewhere, because I know people do. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed that. Not quite as good as I was hoping to have shown off, because I know for a fact that I'll get to it in a second, but there's bits missing off it. It's always the same, technical difficulties, that's what we call it. So let's show you the physical games, because let's have some evidence that I've actually had physical games to be playing this month. So first up was a cheat, because the idea is to clear the backlog, not to play games that you already know and love and enjoy, and that's a bit of a cheat really. So I thought, you know what, no, I'm going to play. So I picked this up first of all, and I thought after I played this, and I thought, no, I'm going to stick to that. I'm not going to play games that I know, because it's dead easy to do. So this was the first game. This was Bruce Willis in Apocalypse. A nice crack on the front of it. As I mentioned, I did have, I may have mentioned the country, I can't remember now, but I did have this game originally. And there's the manual inside as well. This is a fun game. I enjoyed it years and years ago when I first had it. I enjoyed going through it again after all this time. I think it's a good game. It's the angle change is a little bit disorientating. The jumping isn't quite as fluid as I felt it should be, but it's a solid 7 out of 10, no doubt about it. Might be easy for some players, I don't know. For me, it's probably about the right difficulty level. I think with I got a little bit. Did I get a little bit further with the first go? No, I got to about the same point in time with it. What you saw there, level 3. I'm not sure how many levels there are. I know there's at least 6, because I saw a graphic of 6 when it first started. Sort of like when it went through the demo, it showed level 6. So I can't remember how far I got back years ago, but level 3 is about how far I got with that one. Definitely a 7 out of 10. I know some people have already asked about it and mentioned it, saying they want to get hold of it, and I know some people picked it up when I mentioned it, I think, on a TNB years ago, and possibly even when I did my PlayStation Games collection. I've done PlayStation Games collection, haven't I? Yes, I have. I've probably done it on that as well. Now, next game up, undoubtedly, I think was my favourite of the 5. This is Gunfighter, the Legend of Jesse James, which, as you can see, they say light gun compatible. Now, this is the game I picked up for £1 in a charity shop. Again, because we pick up games for £1 in charity shops, don't we? That's what we do. You don't leave them behind, especially PlayStation 1. And I was absolutely pleasantly surprised with this. I honestly thought this was going to be a load of old tut. I really did. But no. I mean, granted, yes, it's been come out of the Spa, which over here is like a convenience store, corner shop type thing. So it couldn't have been a full price release when it came out, I'm pretty sure of it. It's got a feel of a budget game. It's not much to look at nowadays, but I love the sound of it. You know, they've got that Western soundtrack to it, the corny dialogue, and the fact, you know, it's that big horrible sticker on the back as well, which is a real shame. But it's got that, that Time Crisis Ghost Squad Virtua Cop style to it, which I just love. And honestly, if you find that game anywhere, pick it up. Honestly, it will give you a couple of hours of enjoyment. If you've got a light gun setup or anything like I don't have, definitely worth doing it. Definitely worth doing it. 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. I was so impressed by that. And when I started looking through games to play that I hadn't played before, I thought, you know what, I'm going to give that a go. 8 out of 10. Easy. Easy 8 out of 10. I'm very happy with that one. The question is, could I have sat down and played this next game for 24 hours? Probably not. I think 12 minutes was a bit of a stretch. Now, when I played it originally, we're talking about Le Mans 24 hours, by the way. When I played it originally, recording the footage of actually playing the GT Championship, because you can actually play not just Le Mans, you can actually play different categories. So I didn't actually do any research while playing that Le Mans game. You'll notice I ran out of fuel towards the end because I had absolutely no idea. Well, I realised I could have gone into the pits and refueled and changed. I didn't realise. I also realised the car was dying halfway around as well. So it was quite fun. Great experience. I mean, you know, knowing the Le Mans track as well as I do from watching it regularly over the last few years, you can work that out yourself roughly where you're going to be. Could you play that game for 24 hours? Did anybody play for 24 hours? Do let me know. I'd love to hear from you and work out what your mental state is. I mean, initially it evokes memories of TOCA. And there's so many, I've got so many decent races. The Formula 1 games are fantastic. Kart games on the PlayStation 1 are fantastic. But obviously with my interest in Le Mans, I thought, well, this is worthwhile picking up again. I can't remember where it came from. I don't even know where I got this game from at all. Probably another charity shop rescue, I'm guessing. But yeah, I mean, as a racing game, ignore my handling skills. That's me trying to get used to the controls again. But you know, again, I think that's a 7 out of 10 game. That really is, and I think there's much more to just playing Le Mans. There's much more to it than that. There's other championship modes as well. So, and also the Le Mans mode as well. When you actually go into that, you don't have to, like I did, sort of pick a car. You get other teams trying to get you. Can do qualifying. You can set the car up properly. Things that I just don't like doing. But there seems to be some depth there as well. So definitely worth checking out that one. Rat Attack. Number 4. Again, I don't know. I can't remember how these games come from my collection. I don't even know. I know there is an N64 version. I think it is quite expensive. Interesting concept. This one. There's some silica gel in there. Interesting concept in the fact that it's not. I say Krusty's Funhouse, the one that really springs to mind. That's actually got rats in it, which isn't what it is. It looks like a very generic platform of its time. It's an interesting concept. I don't think it quite works. The camera's not great on it, as you've seen. It looks a bit dated. It's got that horrible sort of polygonic triangular look to everything. I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's a licensed game from anything. It looked like it should be, because a lot of thought and effort's gone into this. And there are 50 levels. There's multiplayer levels as well. You've got 6 characters start with 8 altogether. 2 are unlockable. So I mean, there's some depth to it, but I don't know. What you saw there and what I recorded beforehand, I got to the same point, and it took me about 15 minutes. So there's 8 different levels, so it's not a huge amount of gameplay there. It's difficult. I mean, I've got a 90% at the top here, which was an interesting one. I can't remember where that's come from. 90% from from a PlayStation magazine, I'm guessing, AAA title. I don't think it's that good. Whether time's not been kind to it, I think it's a pretty average collectible platformer problem solver. 6 out of 10 maybe. A strong 6, not a weak 6, a strong 6, but not great. And then the final game, which was probably the one which I was keen to play, because again, I picked this up in a charity shop probably a couple of years back now. Not the greatest condition box. It does need a bit of a clean. I didn't realise how dirty it was actually. Some bit shut this off. Super Drop Zone. I didn't pay £8 for it. Again, I think this was a 30p charity shop rescue. So from that point of view, it's fantastic. I love the history behind it. You've got Jim Bagley involved in it. You've got Arch McLean involved in it with the original concept. Jim Bagley developed the PlayStation 1. I like that, and I do like the fact that even though I didn't play Drop Zone, it was instantly recognisable in the fact that I played Defender, which is very much a similar sort of game. I like the fact that it didn't go from these overblown, next generation remakes. It was not a bad little version of the game. Yeah, I can't fault it. I can't really give it any more than, say, a 7 out of 10. I'm not sure whether that's to do with the original game itself, I don't know. But I mean, the original game I've now got on the Spectrum. And I've got that in a trade, I think. So that's one I'm definitely going to have to dig out on the old Specky and give that a go. But yeah, I think they're good, solid game. So I don't think there's anything bad there. These were just picked at random. And I'd be very surprised if that's probably cost me more than... It's probably cost me less than a tenner when I bought all those separately. I know Apocalypse I would have paid a bit more for because of the game. I recognised it, but I think the other ones have been charity shop pickups for very little. So if I spent 10 quid on that, and it's been good fun to do them. I've enjoyed playing. I don't think there's a bad game in there between them. I don't think there's anything drastically outstanding or unearthed any hidden gem. Gunfighter might be a hidden gem. I think that's a hidden gem. Oyster gem. An ice gem. Yeah, Gunfighter may be an oyster gem for the PlayStation 1. It's quite enjoyable little fun blast of that. I quite enjoyed it. I think if I had a light gun, I'd have enjoyed it even more. And try and playing that with a directional pad. Although you can use the analog controller on it as well. It is analog compatible. So, but I actually found using the directional pad a bit easier. Not quite sure why. But yeah, that's PlayStation 1 week done. Not bad. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know what you've been playing as well. Be good to see what other people are doing. If you have been doing it, put your stuff on YouTube. Put your stuff on social media. Put it on social media, I won't see it, but put stuff on YouTube and I will have a look at it. So we're moving on to the old PlayStation 2 next. That'll be our next set of videos for next week. I hope you've enjoyed that. Yeah, like, subscribe, comment, tick the bell, bing, all that stuff that we ask you to do, which some people do, which we thank you for, and some people don't, which we thank you for at least stopping by and seeing what it's all about. Not to everybody's taste, but we appreciate your time. That's it then, Mr. Retro Bear saying bye for now. We'll see you again next week for PlayStation 2 week. But until then, take care, and in the meantime, have a good Easter as well, because that's holidays falling in between. And don't forget, we've got a podcast on Sunday night, TMB podcast on this channel, 8 PM Sunday night. That's Easter Sunday. With our special guest, and it's a bit of an anniversary. Well, we've had an anniversary a couple of weeks ago. We've now got another anniversary, but nothing to do with the TMB. It's to do with something we'll be talking about. So I hope you will tune in for that. Join in the live chat. We will see you there. I'm off. See you later.